Vanakkam. Today I am going to talk about the only one circular issued by RBI with reference to bank audit in MSME restructuring of advances. This is a very important circular which everyone has to bear in mind because the branches now they are going to take shelter under this circular. So I want to go in detail with reference to this MSME circular, and the circular number is RBI 2019-20/160 DBR number BP.BC.34/21.04.048 2019-20, and the circular was issued dated 11/2/2020. Same type of circular is also being issued last year on 1/1/2019. This is a two circular you have to see. But now we are concerned with the circular number 160 dated 11/2/2020. It is restructuring of MSME advances. Before going to that, everyone should know what is MSME. MSME classification is based on the investment made in plant and machinery. Bear in mind, investment made in plant and machinery and not on other things. And MSME category is being defined into two categories. One is for the manufacturing sector and second one is service sector. This is a two thing you have to bear in mind. One is manufacturing sector, second one is service sector. And what is the expansion of MSME? M stands for micro enterprises, S stands for small enterprises, ME stands for medium enterprises. So micro, small, medium enterprises. This is called as MSME. But there is a slab in which you have to fix the category, that is sector. In the manufacturing sector, the investment should be up to 25 lakhs. If investment in plant and machinery is 25 lakhs, then that sector is called as micro enterprises. And investment exceeding 25 lakhs and up to 5 crores, it is called as small enterprises. This is with reference to manufacturing category. And exceeding 5 crores and up to 10 crores in plant and machinery, it is called as medium enterprises. So in manufacturing sector, there are three slabs. One is up to investment in plant and machinery up to 25 lakhs, then 25 lakhs to 5 crores, 5 crores to 10 crores. So exceeding 10 crores, the scheme is not eligible. So the auditor has to see what is the investment made in the plant and machinery. There is no need that borrower, he has to borrow and invest in the bank. Even with his own capital also he can invest. But you have to see that the amount exceeding 10 crores in plant and machinery, you have to, you should not classify under MSME. It is the original cost and not the depreciated value. This is a one controversy view. Still, there is no clear-cut instruction. They said investment in plant and machinery, whether it is original or WDV. It is, for me, it is original investment. Okay, so because at the time of original investment only, you are taking the MSME Udyogada registration certificate. For the service sector, it is up to 10 lakhs is called as micro enterprises. Exceeding 10 lakhs and up to 2 crores, it is called as small enterprises. And exceeding 2 crores to 5 crores, it is called as medium enterprises. So here also there are three categories in the plant and machinery investment in service sector. So what is manufacturing? What is service sector? You have to decide. whether the unit is going to manufacture any item, whether the unit is going to provide service to the industry. This is a thing you have to bear in mind, and kindly see that MSME is applicable only for manufacturing, processing, and service sector units, and it is not applicable for trading units. Few bankers, in order to accommodate their customers, they ask the customer to take the MSME certificate. But at this juncture, I want to say one thing. Kindly see the sanction letter, because the bank has to sanction the loan based on the sanction letter. So what is the status that is stated in the sanction letters? That is important, because the funds have been sanctioned only for the purpose of manufacturing or service sector and not for trading sector. Suppose if any loan is sanctioned for trading sector, and if they provide Udyogadar certificate, and they can say that this unit is eligible for MSME restructuring. For this, my view is, it is my view, you have to see only the sanction letter, because the loan is sanctioned for a particular purpose. The MSME, that is Udyogadar certificate, may be taken for some other purpose. So you should not compare it. You have to compare it and arrive at the final decision. And whatever doubt you have, but commit it in writing in your report. This is the thing you have to bear in mind. Investment in plant and machinery only is allowed. This is the thing you have to bear in mind. And trading units are not allowed under this MSME restructuring of advances. So instead of comparing both the circulars which has been issued last year and this year, I am going to explain the basis on which the present circular is issued. So is it applicable for MSME enterprises? I said yes. This present circular is applicable only for MSME restructuring of advances. Then second question is, how many times this restructuring has to be done? It is only once that unit has to be restructured. Suppose based on the last year's circular, if the restructuring has already been done, then that unit is not eligible to be restructured once again in this year, because in order to help the customers, few bankers, they adopt this. So you have to see that the number of times the unit is subject to restructuring. It is only once, as per the circular dated 11/2/2020. It is only once, and that too it is existing loan. So new loan is not applicable for the restructure. Then another point you have to see that it is applicable only for standard account. So if any account has already become NPA, then this restructuring is not possible. This also the auditor has to see whether the branch has classified or used restructuring technique to the NPA account or not. This point also you have to see. And the total exposure of fund-based and non-fund-based. That is, you have to, for this you have to see the sanction letter. You have to aggregate, you have to total both fund-based and not fund-based, and both the limits, if you combine, that should not exceed 25 crores as on 1/1/2020. It is the sanction exposure. They use the word exposure. So it is not outstanding. It is only the sanction. Their branch has got the exposure in fund and non-fund base to the tune of 24 crores as on 1/1/2020. I think you're all clear. It is 25 crores and standard account. Only once you have to do the restructuring. And next thing, the borrower should be a defaulter, but that account is standard. This is the thing you have to see, because that account is about to become substandard. So the borrower is in default. Suppose he has defaulted some 2 installments. He has not defaulted the third. So up to 2 installments it is allowed, or it is about to become as on 1/1/2020. That account you have to just standard. Otherwise, this restructuring is not applicable for this. So the borrower should be a defaulter, but that account is standard. I think you are all clear. Is irregular in making the payment, but that account has not been treated as NPA. But sometimes in other NPA video, I already said date of NPA is important. So you have to do the NPA working for each and every account. So if the loan has already become NPA, but branch has not classified those advances as NPA because they said money will come. But you should not do like that. You have to arrive at the actual date of NPA. Then you see that that advance is eligible for restructuring. MSME advance is eligible for restructuring. And if you have restructured the advance till the date of implementation of restructuring, because the RBI has given some time to implement the restructuring of advances. So till the implementation of restructuring, then that account till such time you have to treat it as standard, because two dues have not come. So third due, if it has not made, then automatically that account will become NPA. But due to MSME restructuring, because of this circular, you need not classify as substandard till the implementation of the restructuring. That account is continue to be treated as NPA because the restructuring is eligible only for the standard asset, standard advance, and not for the NPA account. Then, what is the time limit within which the scheme, that is restructuring, has to be implemented? That is, for this year, the restructuring should be done on or before 31/12/2020. So your working is you are going to do the audit as on 31/3/2020, and you have to classify standard because of this circular, because the implementation period is extended up to 31/12/2020. That is before 31/12/2020, on or before 31/3/12/2020, the branch has to restructure. But in the earlier year, suppose if you want to verify for the earlier year, then the restructuring time is 31/3/2020 for the year 18/19. But for 19/20, the restructuring period, that is the bank can do the restructuring up to 31/12/2020. And next condition is whether that MSME, whether that unit is eligible, that is only GST registered units are eligible. Yes. In case if any exemption is given towards GST registration, any exemption means if the unit has not achieved say 20 lakhs, it's an exemption. You may not go and register. So that's this 20 lakhs or 40 lakhs, it depends on the state. So if you say that if there is any GST registration, then that unit is also eligible. If there is any specific exemption in GST registration, then also that MSME can be restructured. This is the thing you have to see. Then obtaining Udyog Aadhaar certificate. Still, there is a vague thing is I have noticed in it. Registration under Udyog Aadhaar is must, whether it is by state government or central government. Then the time of registration is not clear. Suppose you have, as on the date of sanction, no MSME certificate is obtained. But even after 1/1/2020, if you obtained registration of under Udyog Aadhaar, whether that is also eligible. Now bankers, they say that it is eligible, and the circular is not clear. The time of registration of Udyog Aadhaar is not clearly mentioned. They said that you have to see the Udyog Aadhaar certificate. If that is that, then you acknowledge, because it is not specifically stated in the circular. Whether if the loan has already been restructured some 3 years back and 4 years back, whether that unit is also eligible to be restructured once again in this circular, in this RBI circular, even that is also not clear, because they said As on 1/1/2020, that account should not be treated as substandard or should not fall in the category of NPA. So they said only for the existing loan. If the existing loan, according to me, if the existing loan has already been restructured in the earlier year, then those units are not eligible to be restructured once again in this circular. Then you have to see whether new documents according to the restructured scheme you have to obtain. Yes, you have to first the branch has to give the sanction letter about the MSME restructuring of advances. You have to call for the MSME restructuring advances sanction letter. If that is not there, then you have to give in your report. So you have to call for the sanction letter. Based on that sanction letter, once again the branch has to obtain the new loan document with the new conditions stated in the sanction letter. And if in the sanction letter, if any new capital has to be introduced by the borrower, if there is any condition, then that also the customer, that is the borrower, has to follow it. This is the thing you have to see, as well as the bank has to make, not at the branch level, at the overall level, they will make additional provision of 5% in addition to the existing provision. That is for standard asset, if it is 0.25%, then additional provision of 5% they have to make for the restructuring of advances. This you have to, you need not bother at the branch level, but you have to know that the additional 5% provision has to be made. But for this, you have to see the sanction letter of the customer under MSME category. Then whether after post restructuring, whether NPA status continues, that is applicability of IRAC norm continues. Yes, it is only a postponement till 31/12/2020, because suppose if 36/2020 that restructuring advance has sanction has already been, from there you have to follow the NPA norms. So there is no change, it's only shifting, that is they are giving cushion to treat NPA account as standard till the implementation order is being passed, that is restructure implementation order is being passed. Then this restructuring advances, whether if it is paid, can this be upgraded? Yes, if the loan is being regularized, then this can be upgraded, that is also possible. Then within a period of 1 year, they mentioned that there's a specified period. Specified period means a period of 1 year from the commencement of the first payment of interest or principal, whichever is later, based on the moratorium. In the sanction letter, they say that for another 6 months, there is no need to make the payment. Everything is depending on the sanction letter of the bank. So kindly go through the sanction letter, then arrive at the NPA working. Then here they have mentioned clearly, because initially they said it is irregular, but the account is standard. So they have given one provision for both term loan. In case of term loan, there are two types of repayment. One is EMI concept, another one is principal plus interest concept. So they passed the order, and that those advances have been restructured, but the installments as per the restructured advances sanction letter has to be paid within 30 days. Every month it has to be paid, and overdue period is allowed for a period of 30 days. That means this month due, you have to pay next 30 days. This is a thing you have to see. As in the CC account, it is interest. So interest has to be paid within 30 days when the amount is due. So 30, suppose in case 34 interest, that has to be serviced before 35/2020. So within 30 days only it is allowed. These are important things you have to bear in mind. Once again, I will repeat, it is applicable only for plant and machinery investment. MSME sector definition you have to fulfill. Then it is applicable only for manufacturing, service sector and processing sector, and not for trading units. Then it is applicable for the year 2020 that is based on the circular dated 11/2/2020, only the existing loan can be restructured. Only the account should be standard, but account may be irregular. But the total exposure, they said exposure, that is sanction limit, is 25 crores as on 1/1/2020, and restructuring of implementation period is 31/12/2020. Udyogada certificate is must, and you have to see the sanction letter. Then also you have to see the original sanction letter. Original sanction letter you have to see, because you want to compare the purpose for which the loan is sanctioned. This is the thing you have to see. Then new documents as per the revised MSME certificate, you have to get it, and new capital can be done, and post restructuring NPA you have to carry out, and the overdue period is 30 days. Within 30 days the customer has to make payment. Otherwise, that even though those advances have been restructured, those advances had to be classified as NPA. This is the very important thing you have to bear in mind. And I'll in the notes I'll give the circular number. Kindly you can download the copy from the site. You can have to go through the circular and decide. And with this is only MSME restructuring advance circular issued by RBI from last year. Last year they issued on 1/1/2019 they have issued. Once again they are extending the MSME restructuring advances for another year. With this, I'm going to conclude this presentation, and thanks for watching this program. And I request once again to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Ravindran V. With this, I'm signing off. Nandri Vanakkam.